Hello students, welcome to online classes of geography of class 9. This is my third class of your chapter number 4, that is climate. In the previous two classes I have discussed lots of concepts related to this chapter. Today I am going to proceed with the discussion that there are some factors that specifically influence the Indian climate. So what are those factors that influences the Indian climate? And I have given some find out questions which is there in your NCERT, as well as some in-text question from these portion only that have been discussed. So I am going to discuss the answers of those questions too. So now let us proceed with the first, that is the factors that influences the Indian climate. Now here you can see a map is there, and the first factor that influences the Indian climate is related to the latitude. Now the most important latitude that is there for our country is Tropic of Cancer. This is the most important latitude. This latitude divides the country into two equal halves having two different type of climatic condition. This one is tropical zone and the northern one is subtropical zone. Now the tropical zone and the subtropical zone, they are having bit differences in the climatic condition. What is the basic difference? The basic difference is tropical one is having specifically hot and humid climate. The tropical is hot and humid, and subtropical is cool and comparatively, I am using the word comparatively wet and dry climate. Comparatively wet and dry climate, that is subtropical. So the important latitude that divides the country into two equal halves, it creates the two climatic zone, tropical that is having the characteristics of hot and humid climatic condition, and the subtropical which is having the characteristics of cool and wet and dry climatic condition. So that is why the first important factor that affects the India's climate is the latitude, and the latitude is Tropic of Cancer. Now let us move to the next is altitude. Now once again I am taking the reference of the map. Okay, altitude we all know, when the height increases temperature decreases, and I have already discussed in the previous classes that what is the that is rate of decrease of temperature with the increase of height, that is with every 165 meter ascent there is a decrease of 1 degree Celsius. This is termed as normal lapse rate. Now what does the that is the altitude of our country is affecting the India's climate? Now the most important part is that we are having a stretch of mountain. We are having a stretch of mountain in this part, that is the Himalayan mountain, and over here it is the Tibetan part. This is Tibet over here, and we know Tibet is a cold desert. So how altitude influences the India's climate? Due to Himalayan mountain, due to this mountainous structure, the cold winds that is blowing from Tibetan part is being blocked by this Himalayan range. So that is the reason our winters are not so very chill like that of the Tibetan part, or else what we can say, our winters are comparatively mild winters where the freezing points are not there, temperature is there near about by 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, but there are some areas where temperature reaches to minus 45 degrees Celsius, which is the Himalayan mountain tracts or the mountainous zone where it is entirely frozen out throughout the year. This is one, and another altitude is we are having this plateau region, even the coastal areas. Here the height is just of 30 meters and here it is approximately about, or what we can say as an average of about 6,000 meter. So 6,000 in this part and 30 meters in this part. So that this is the reason that the 6,000 meters block the chill winds and the moisture laden winds that is approaching from the oceanic part, and because of this 30 meter high, the continuous influence of the sea breezes, it's just creates an impact on the temperature conditions of the coastal areas, and so the coastal areas are having moderate temperatures throughout the year due to the impact of cool sea breezes that basically blows from the sea to the land during the daytime, and which reduces or which helps to maintain or moderate the temperature condition. So hopefully how altitude is creating its effect, Himalayan mountain is there to block the chill winds from the Asia and to block the moisture laden winds to cross the country. That is the part of the that is the characteristics or the work of the Himalayan mountain. And similarly, the coastal areas where the height is very less, it is just of about 30 meters, which is continuously getting the impact of the sea breezes, and that helps to controls the temperature of the coastal areas. So this is the impact of the altitude. Now the third one is there for the pressure and the wind system. Now the pressure and the wind system, again I am going to explain it with the help of the map. Now the pressure and the wind system during the summer season, I am just first drawing the important latitude of the country. Now during the summer season, the condition of the land is high temperature, low pressure. I am explaining for the summer season, during the summers, okay, during the summer season. Low pressure is there on the Indian landmass and high pressure is there over the Indian Ocean. So what is the resultant? During the summer season, Indian landmass is approached or experience the that is the movement of the moisture laden winds towards the country, towards the interior parts of the country. This is during the summer season, and just the vice versa during the winter season. What is the resultant? During the winter season, the land is having high pressure. I am talking about the winters, okay. The land is having high pressure and the water surface is having the low pressure. So winds are coming from land to water. So what type of winds are these? These are dry winds. So this is due to the difference of the pressure condition. The winds move from water body to land mass or land mass to water body. This is related to the pressure and wind system. So these are the three factors. Now there are other factors also, like upper air circulation, western cyclonic disturbances and tropical cyclone. These three topics I am going to discuss during the live class, which I have already informed the students, or I have already informed you that I am going to conduct it on Saturday, that is 20th of June, and the time has also been mentioned over there. So once again I am just repeating that the important latitude divides the country into two equal halves. Southern part is having a tropical climate which is having the characteristics of the hot and humid, and that is the northern part, it is having the subtropical climate which is having the characteristics of cold and wet and dry climatic conditions. So this is related to the latitude. Now another part, altitude, height increases, temperature decreases, termed as normal lapse rate. Now as our country is having a very important mountain chain or a system, that is Himalayas, which is considered as a climate divide. Why? Because it blocks the chill winds coming from the Central Asia, and that is why our winters are not so very chilled like that of that cold deserts of the Tibetan part. And during the summer season, when the moisture laden winds are approaching, the Himalayan mountains are there to block the moisture laden winds to cross the country, and that is why our country is not a desert or a arid land. Rather we are having the precipitational part or the rainy season just after the summer season. So this is related to the altitude. Now I'll just explain one thing, how the place having that same latitude, but due to the variation of altitude, the temperature condition is different. Now I am just pointing it out. Over here we are having the most important, that is Delhi, our capital, and at that same latitude, I am just drawing the line over there, same latitude in West Bengal we are having the place that is a tourism spot, Darjeeling. It is situated on that same latitude. Now when the place is situated on the same latitude, I am talking about Delhi and Darjeeling, do you assess that whether the condition of the temperature is same in both the places? Answer is no. Delhi is comparatively having a different type of temperature condition during the summer and during the winter, and Darjeeling is having a different type of temperature conditions throughout the year. So why does this happen? Because Darjeeling is situated at a certain height of 7,000 meter. It is basically, it is located at a height of 7,000 meter, where Delhi is normally having a height of, it is nearly about a height of 200 to 300 meters. Okay, so such a vast difference of altitude, but what is it? Due to the same latitude, due to the variation of the altitude, the temperature condition of both the places is different. So the places can be localized over the same latitude, but if there is a variation of altitude, there will be variation of temperature conditions. And lastly, I discussed about the direction of the winds that blows according to the pressure conditions, which is totally influenced due to the temperature condition, and the temperature condition is varying due to the revolution of the earth, which causes the difference of the temperature of the land mass and the water mass. So I have explained the three factors. The rest of the three factors I will just discuss during the live classes. Now I have given some questions. Now the questions that I have given, number 1, the first 3 questions are there from your find out, which is there in the NCERT. Why the houses of Rajasthan having the thick walls and flat roofs? Now before going to this, I just want to discuss one aspect. I just want to discuss one aspect. That is, Rajasthan is situated, Rajasthan is there in the that is in the northwestern part, and which is a dry area. It's a desert region, okay, and which is having the sandy texture of the soil. Which is having the sandy texture of soil. Now due to this sandy texture of the soil, what happens with the temperature conditions during the day and during the night? During the day, during daytime, the temperature is high, and during the night the temperature is low. During night the temperature is low, during day the temperature is high. And you know the reason why it is so, because sand absorbs the heat very fast, and in that same order it radiates the heat too. So due to its sandy texture of the soil, the deserts are having too vast variation of the temperature condition during a day. During the daytime the temperature reaches about 40 to 45 degree, and during the night time it drops to 20 to 15 degree Celsius. So why does this happens? I have explained, due to the sandy texture of the soil. Now this day-night variation of temperature, day-night temperature variation, day-night temperature variation is termed as diurnal range of temperature, is termed as diurnal range of temperature, diurnal range of temperature. So which part of our country is having this diurnal range of temperature? That is Rajasthan. The desert area, northwestern part of our country, is having a high diurnal range of temperature, and the definition of the diurnal range of temperature is the day-night temperature variation. The day-night temperature variation is considered as a diurnal range of temperature. So now let us proceed. So hopefully, what is diurnal range of temperature? The concept is clear to everybody. Now let us proceed to the question that I was discussing about, which is there in your find out question. Why the houses of Rajasthan have thick walls and flat roofs? So what does this indicate? Why it is having thick walls and flat roofs? Now first of all, let me discuss about the thick walls. Why thick walls? Because during the daytime, to protect the heat which is too very high in the outside, and during the night time to protect the heat to release out, because at the night the temperature is low outside. So during the day when the temperature is high, it just protect to increase the temperature of the houses, of the rooms, and during the night it protects the temperature, to release out, because it wants to maintain that warmth as it is very cool outside. So that is why it is having thick walls. And why it is having a flat roof? Because Rajasthan is having scarcity of rainfall. So whenever it is having a rainfall, it can store out the water by the practice of rainwater harvesting. This is one reason. And another reason, if they want to dry up any sorts of grain, because over there the agricultural part is also very much restricted due to its climatic condition and of its sandy structure. So if they want to dry up any grains, which is not possible over the sandy texture because it is very loose, and all those grains will be mixed up with the dust particles if there is any sort of fast flowing of the winds. So what is the resultant? They just dry up the grains by using the flat roofs. So first is collection of the water through rainwater harvesting, and second using it for the purpose of drying up of the grains. Okay, that is why they are having the flat roofs. And if they are having a tilted roofs, then obviously the water will slide down and the collection of the water will be a bit difficult. Now next, why is the houses in the Terai region and in the Goa and Mangalore are having sloping roofs? Now this Terai region is there in the parts of Uttar Pradesh, that is the zone of the Terai region, and Goa and Mangalore is there in the southwestern part. Now all these three regions are the zone of heavy rainfall. They receive huge amount of rainfall. Now when they receive huge amount of rainfall, if the roofs are flat, so obviously it will damage the houses. So that is the reason the sloping roofs of the houses enables the rainwater to flow off easily, so that it can prevent the house from any sort of damage. This is the reason why the roofs are slopy in the these three heavy rainfall regime, that is Terai, Goa and Mangalore. Third question, why houses in Assam are built on the stilts? Now stilts are the pillars. It can be a cemented pillar, it can be a timber pillar. Okay. Now the house of Assam are built on stilts. Why it is so? Again, Assam is a place where it is a zone of heavy rainfall, and secondly, we have studied in chapter number 3 that river Brahmaputra is the most important river of the state of Assam. The Assam valley is there due to this river Brahmaputra, and the river Brahmaputra is every year it is having that, it is causing or it is creating that devastation of flood. So due to these reasons, just to protect the house, the houses in the Assam are just built upon these pillars. Either it is cemented or it is the timber pillars, just to protect the house from any sort of damage due to the dampness of the soil. And even when entirely it is so very damp, the soil is marshy and wetty, so another fear factor is there, that is of the dangerous reptiles. So just to protect the houses from all these, from the dampness, from the dangerous reptile, from the incidents of the floods, so the houses are built on the stilts. Next, question number 4. Tamil Nadu receives winter rainfall. Now again I am just going to explain this question with the help of the map. I am just going to explain this question with the help of the map. Now Tamil Nadu is situated, we know this is Tamil Nadu. It receives winter rainfall. Now just please pay attention. During the that is the summer season, the winds approach from Arabian Sea in this direction, that is we term it as a southwest direction, whether it is from Arabian Sea or whether it is from Bay of Bengal. Now when it is moving from Arabian Sea, the winds are unable to touch the Tamil Nadu part. The Arabian Sea winds are not there to touch the Tamil Nadu because they moves parallel to Tamil Nadu. It has not been touched by the, that is the Tamil Nadu has not been touched by the winds approaching from the Arabian Sea, and the Bay of Bengal winds is totally in a different direction of Tamil Nadu. So what is the resultant? The winds which are blowing from the ocean winds which are blowing from the ocean does not create any impact on the Tamil Nadu during the rainy season. But when the scenario changes, when winds are coming from Indian landmass to Indian Ocean, their direction is northeast. I am repeating, when the winds are coming from Indian landmass to Indian Ocean, their direction is northeast. So, what is it? The winds which are coming from this part, when they come to the part of Bay of Bengal. Now, the winds which are coming from landmass, what is the nature of the winds? These are dry winds. Land, they are not having any moisture, or they are not able to absorb any moisture from the land. So, they are dry winds. But the moment they flows over the oceanic body, dry winds quickly absorbs the moisture over here, and along with that dry, that means the dust particles are there, along with that moisture it becomes comparatively more denser, because it is unable to remove the dust particles as at that moment, as these are not the warm winds, these are cold winds. So, they are unable to remove the dust particles. So, at that moment they just absorbs the moisture, because they are blowing over the Indian Ocean, that is Bay of Bengal part, and they becomes heavier and denser. So, they hit the coastal part of the Tamil Nadu, and that is the reason when the winds are coming from the Indian landmass, that is during the winter season, during the winter season of our country, the winds move from Indian landmass to Indian Ocean following the direction of northeast. They touches the coastal part of the Tamil Nadu, and as a result, as they are being just obstructed by the landmass, they shed out the moisture over there. So, as they shed the moisture over there, it receives winter rainfall. So, this is the reason why Tamil Nadu receives winter rainfall. So, hopefully you got the concept that why Tamil Nadu receives winter rainfall, because Tamil Nadu is unable to get the rainfall during the rainy season, as the moisture laden winds or the monsoonal winds approaching from Indian Ocean are parallel to Tamil Nadu as they blow towards the southwest direction. But during the winter, due to the northeast direction, when they blows over the Bay of Bengal, the absorption of moisture makes the winds denser and gets obstructed by the coastal part of Tamil Nadu and creates winter rainfall. So, hopefully the entire concept is clear to everybody. Now, next, coastal areas experiences less contrast in temperature conditions. Why? Because already I said coastal areas are getting the continuous influence of two breezes, that is sea breeze during the daytime and land breeze during the night time. So, what is the resultant? They are able to maintain the temperature throughout the year. So, this is the basic reason that due to the influence of the sea breeze and the land breeze, the coastal areas are having less contrast of temperature and they experiences equable climate. Okay, it is termed as equable climate. Now, next, rainfall decrease generally from east to west direction in the northern plains. So, why it is so? Why rainfall decreases from east to west in the northern plains? Now, it is basically the winds which are approaching from east to west, they are having less moisture as they shred out their moisture on its path, and by the time when it reaches to the western part, they have already shredded out their maximum moisture. So gradually when the moisture laden winds, they approaches the eastern part of our country, and due to the Arunachal Himalayas getting obstructed, they just get diverted towards the western part. When they come to the part of West Bengal, then it comes to the part of Chhattisgarh, then Madhya Pradesh, then Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, all these areas. In this order, when it is approaching towards Rajasthan, gradually the moisture becomes less. Why? They are getting various obstruction on its way, and they keep on shedding their moisture in a form of rainfall or precipitation, and as a result they are not able to acquire or absorb the moisture on its path, because there are no saline body present over there. As a result, the moment they reaches the western part, again it is being obstructed by Aravalis, so they shed out their moisture in the western part of the eastern part of the Aravalis, and the western part is totally devoid of these moisture laden winds, so it has developed as a Thar desert region. Now the next question, differentiate between equable climate and extreme climate. Now the difference between the equable climate and extreme climate are, number one, equable climate means there is a vast difference of the temperature. During the summers the temperatures are too high, during the winters the temperature is too low, and so that is for the extreme type of climate. And for the equable climate, the temperature is same whether it is summer season, whether it is winter season. Again I am repeating, extreme variations of the temperature conditions are there for the extreme climate, and moderate type of temperature conditions are there for the equable climate. Now second point of difference is, the location. Equable climate is being experienced by the coastal areas, the places which are adjacent to the coastal areas, and experiencing of the extreme climate is there in the interior parts of the country. That is the extreme that is the what we can say, that in central India of our country, that is the northern plain region, that experiences the extreme type of climatic condition. And the third point of that is the difference, why they are getting the equable climate, because there is a continuous influence of the two local breezes, that is land breeze and the sea breezes. And why there is having a extreme type of climatic variation, because there is a seasonal influence of the monsoonal winds, whether it is moisture laden winds or whether it is dry winds. So interior parts is influenced by the seasonal winds, that is monsoon winds, and equable climate are experienced regularly on daily basis by the two local breezes, that is land breeze and the sea breeze. So these are the basic difference between the equable climate and extreme climate. And the last question, why most of the world's deserts are located in the western margins of the continents in the subtropical? Now this question I have already explained the answer of this question. I have already explained in the doubt clearing class, the first live class. Again I am repeating, because the western margins of the subtropical areas, or the that is the of every continents where there is a subtropical zone, over there the winds that creates the impact of precipitation, by the time it reaches the western part of that entire country, the moisture is already been shredded out. Just now I explained that why rainfall decreases from east to west. That will be the main concept for this answer too, that when it is on the western part, as the winds approaches from east to west direction, the moment they reaches the western part, there is negligible moisture present in the winds become dry, so they do not create or they cannot create any sort of precipitational effect, and thus wise it develops desert over there. So, I have completed the answers of all the questions. Now, if you are having any doubts, without any hesitation, just mention it in the comment section, and thank you for following today's class. Have a nice day.